Well, let me switch gears one more time because I don't think we've really had like a definitive Wemby talk. And, this guy is putting together, I think there's a distinction here. I think some fans may not understand how good this guy is and just want to revert back to he's tall. That's why he's good. But that is an immovable part of the puzzle, but it is a meaningless part of the puzzle if he doesn't have the IQ, the mentality, the work ethic, the skill.
Absolutely. He's not the first guy in our league that's been tall.
Right.
He's not the first guy in our league that had length or been tall. He's not. So we can nip that in the bud right now, guys. And yes, it's a factor, because his length, his size, the way he's able to cover a lot of ground, especially defensively. But when we talk about what he's able to do offensively, his ability to put the ball on the ground, we've seen him ISOing, our defensive player, multiple defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, multiple times on the perimeter, hitting him with snatchbacks, spins, up and unders, dream shakes, fadeaways. We've seen him, a cross dribble, step back out of the corner for three, his ability to catch and his coordination, which sometimes look uncoordinated, but it's because of his length, his ability to catch the ball with his back towards the basket or half of his body and be able to find the rim before he even lands. That is coordination that we've never seen before. And it's not just because he's tall. It's because he has the ability to do things that we haven't seen in our league, ever. But his IQ, you could tell by the way he talks, you could tell by his demeanor, he knows the game. He was taught the game the right way. And San Antonio continues to get lucky as fuck with these generational talented IQ, smart, but listen, keep the main thing, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now Wemby, guys who they have this
dead serious.
They have this dead serious mentality. They have these blinders, these horse blinders on, and they the mission is the mission. And that's all that matters, and, it's pretty remarkable to see.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about the offensive skills that are uncanny for his size.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing is in a sense, I think of him in basketball terms as a teenager. You can see where this is going in a way because he's already, like you said, it might look awkward at times. It's an incredible feat of coordination, the way he's able to handle at this level, his length and the pace of the game and all that stuff. So as he gets stronger through his hips, as he gets, more reps and he grows into, really his body becoming, a man, I think that is something that is, I think you're spot on.
It's going to be scary.
Spot on. When he can rip the ball and win that first bump and spin and he's on the rim.
Yeah.
And he also you've already seen the ability that if he spins and they come early, he can make those passes. So, I mean, there's a problem forming offensively for sure, but where I've been really impressed is his defense.
It's insane.
Is clearly the size, but what I love is he's already thinking through it and he knows timing. I could come early because I see this, but if I come early, I open up something behind me. Let me wait. Let me play possum. Let me hide. I think we have some clips where he literally tries to crouch down behind the primary defender just to bait the guy into shooting and making blocks. So he's quarterbacking. I mean,
he's just waiting. It's nobody.
He doesn't give Rudy anything, but he doesn't give the ball hand. He waits and waits and waits until there's no more space.
He takes away the lob. So he's not letting Rudy get behind him. So he takes away the lob all the way up into the last moment where, he's waiting for you to shoot that floater and he just times it and go gets it.
You see how he's hiding?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's
so sick. That's so sick.
It just shows you he's baiting this guy. I mean, that's next level.
Yeah, that's next level.
To know the command he has and he's done that a lot. So these are some of these couple here. He turns his back. He lets the guy get behind him in a way, and then just reappears. So this is typical drop where you can keep the ball in front and roll with the big.
Oh man, they even try to Nick Claxton even tried to get the Gortat screen on him, and he still got off of that.
There's one more where he kind of, like you said, the rules. He kind of gets spun around. He's playing 2, and then he's so good he can go the other way. Oh, whereas most people, you can't give your back to the defender, but he can reappear, and there it is. That IQ, that feel. That approach, it's pretty scary when he's only going to get more and more dynamic physically.
And I think what's great too, what their coaching staff has done a great job of recognizing the talent defensively that he possesses. And even though that like the regular fan would never recognize some of the rules that you're never supposed to break in our game, but because they have that, it's just, I know I always mention Ed Reed. Like Ed Reed is like one of the greatest, if not the greatest safety of all time in NFL history.
Of course.
And he was allowed to do certain things that nobody else was allowed to do on their team. And it's because of how instinctual he was and how smart he was. And Wemby has that same approach. Now their coaching staff has given him the ability to, if a guy drives and he's in a strong corner, he'll let you almost get by him and then take the ball and hope that you want to shoot it. And the guy that was guarding the ball, he'll just peel to the corner. He won't do it early because it'll be a quick bang, bang, catch and shoot, but he'll do it late because he knows he can cover that momentum. He can cover that time lapse to where you're still not going to get to the rim and still make the shot. So yeah, like their coaching staff is very strategic and very smart because you could look at it like Luke Cornett is almost just as tall as Wemby.
Right. Yeah, it's not that much.
Not that much. But he does not have the same freedom defensively that Wemby has, and it's because of some of the instincts and the athleticism and the movements that Wemby possesses. He moves like a guard and a 7'6", 7'7", whatever the hell height he is, frame. So when you have that, it's generational. You won't see it again like that.
Perhaps the most interesting part of that is he wants to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
He wants to do it. He wants to, he wants to get stops. He wants to punish you. He wants to dominate down there. Spurs have held opponents to 16 points below their regular season offensive rating when he's on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, 16 points. I mean, that's crazy impact. And it's not like the rest of the team are slouches defensively. But even with him off, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's so much more confident. You have so much more confidence picking up 94 feet or getting over screens or hawking the ball or when you know what you have behind you. Like, I played with Anthony Davis, who was one of the best defensive players I've ever played with in my life. And it just gave us all so much more freedom. Like, it gave KCP and myself and Alex Caruso and Kuzma and Rondo and all. It gave us so much more freedom to gamble sometimes. Yeah. Like, go on a gamble, press up and a guy beats us. And AD is behind you, you like, holy, like you good. Like there's nothing to worry about. Like, AD never won a Defensive Player of the Year award, which is crazy too still. But Wemby's like another level. Like, AD as great as fucking AD was, I think Wemby is even a greater level than any player that we've seen so far defensively. Yeah. He can do it all. And he can also guard on the switch. If you ask him to switch, he can guard on a switch throughout the course of a game too. He's unbelievable on that end.
What tactics would you employ to try to make Wemby less effective defensively? Well, would you bring him into the action? Would you keep him out of the action?
Obviously you got to have the right personnel, and obviously the first thing that goes in my mind is like, can you put 5 playmakers, 5 shooters out on the floor at one time with the size? And a lot of teams don't have that ability, but OKC has that ability. Cleveland has that ability, and the Knicks have that ability where they could put 4 or 5 guys on the floor that can shoot, pass, and dribble. Obviously, that's the first thing that I will say. So, you know, when teams when he's overhelping at times, or, you know, they get broken down, guys got to be ready to catch and shoot, and ready to catch and play make right away. Trying to keep him above the break as much as possible, you know, and meaning like, you know, whoever he's defending, if you have the right personnel, you have to stop allowing him to be the low man. It doesn't matter if it's the strong corner or the weak corner, because it's so much easier for him to get there. If you're running a pick and roll, try to keep his man on the high side of away from the double side. So if he is trying to track the roller to the rim, then it's so much more of a longer closeout to get back to the slot or the top of the key. You know, so that's very key too. And then also not being afraid of putting him in actions, because if you put him in pick and roll actions, you know, with a stretch 4 or stretch 5 or 2 guys that can do multiple things, then he has to guard the ball, and now you take away from his ability to be weak side or whatever the case may be, if they're in switching groups, you know. So you have to kind of, I don't want to say manipulate, because it's not manipulating, it's putting him in positions where, not saying he's going to be or not saying he won't be effective, but he could be less effective than if he were a low man, or if he was, you know, guarding a 5-man that's all he does is roll, you know, as we saw sometimes, you know, in the Portland series, when he was able to just to guard guys who just picked and rolled. He's able just to play up to touch and then just roll back to the rim and come on, I dare you. So you have to put him in compromising positions where you got to get him thinking that, oh shit, if I'll leave, you know, Rui Hachimura, if we was playing him, if I'll leave Rui Hachimura, you know, in the corner, or if I'll leave him at the top of the key because I'm now trying to take DA away from rolling, then Rui is going to make you pay because he just shoots the ball so damn good. So yeah, you have to put him in just like, if you have the personnel, you know, and you know, that will be my suggestion.
I think it's a great point. Like you got to have at least 4 shooters. I think if you know, to play Wemby and have any sort of success, then you obviously got to have talent, and playmaking, decision making. I do think the Gortat screen has a place. You know, try to take his legs out.
Yeah, I do too.
Don't allow him that mobility. The other one I think is interesting is the dribble under. Like when you attack, and just keep your dribble and see what decisions they make.
Yeah.
Like, are they switching back? Are they not? And then when you dribble around, can you have a cutter on the weak side?
Agreed.
Where he, like, you know, he either has to gravitate to one, but it's not like, we've just seen him block shots from behind. But I think it's difficult if he takes the ball handler on a dribble under and someone cuts. That's a really hard. If someone doesn't pick him up, I think it's even hard for Wemby to get back to that. Or they pull in from the corner and the shooter's open.
Right.
The other concept, I wonder what your take is, and I think it's probably difficult to manipulate this, but if he's guarding the ball in a pick and roll, now how can you manipulate to get him there? Or do you have a Chet-like guy who can handle a little bit? Can you screen underneath and keep him out? You know, almost like Gortat screen him from the screen to the rim.
Screen, right. You can. You're smart. That's a smart thing you just said, Steve. Sorry to cut you off, because OKC, which we will see in the series at some point, they do that, where it's like it's not an angle screen, it's not a send it to the middle screen, it's not send it to the right or the left. They set flat screens where you have to navigate because you don't know which way it's coming. So they do have the ability, and Hartenstein does a great job of that. Dort does a great job of that. I could see them trying to at times put Wemby on Dort, or put him on, you know, guys who could be less effective sometimes shooting the ball, but those guys are great screeners as well. So yeah, we can definitely see that, the Gortat screen, or just that simple flat screen where you don't know which way the ball handler is going, to where he has to navigate. Now that's the one thing about 5s, 5-man, 4-man, you know, obviously the 4-man are a little bit more, you know, they can do it a little bit better, but 5-man, they have a hard time not switching onto the ball, but also when another action comes towards them. Yeah. Are they switching? Are they still in coverage? Are they have a hard time doing that at a time. So I think, the OKC coaching staff is definitely over there thinking of ways and no ways that they're going to try to, exploit their defense as much as they can. Obviously, San Antonio and Wemby is great at it. So, it's going to be a great chess match.
Oh, it's going to be a great series. I've been waiting for this one, and I can't wait to see all the little adjustments, see how people attack, what their approaches are. We always talk about adjustments, but really it's tweaks on what you do.
Yep.
It's not, you're not, very rarely are you throwing some huge adjustment, and it's like our approach to our core principles is going to change slightly because of personnel or tendency. So that game within the game is going to be unbelievable with the players on display in this next series.
It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to watch. This is the main event right here from the Western Conference for sure.
You have to attack Wemby. You can't just hide from him the whole time. So sometimes guards, our game's about rim pressure. That's how you break a defense, or you put them in rotations, you create advantages. Yeah. And so I think sometimes we get stuck in between when we see Wemby. We think, I'm kind of open now, but it's not a great shot. I go a little further. I think dribbling around, making him turn his hips, making him follow you out the other side, and having someone cut behind you and replace. Yeah. I do think there's a place where, as great as he is, as he has blocked shots with his back to the ball, I think that's a high demand to receive a penetrator. And we're talking high level guards, like it's got to be someone that has multiple weapons, but he's got to receive that guard, take away the rim. He dribbles under. Now he's got to turn his hips.
So the Nash dribble, is that what you're talking about? The Nash dribble? He doesn't want to say it because of how humble he is, but the Nash dribble. Yeah, AKA the dribble under, AKA the Nash dribble. He doesn't want to say it.
Some have said it. Some have said it before.
I know exactly what he meant. The Nash dribble, exactly.
I'll get the T-shirts printed up, fellas.
The Nash dribble.